is where the fun begins.
Hello, welcome to the Council. We begin tonight's meeting of the Council by calling the Council to order. Hello to everyone and thank you for joining us. The Council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm Elise, and with me are my fellow Council members. Ooh, Sakari.
Hello, everyone. Good to have you here.
And Redna.
Hello.
Okay, so we did not hear Redna.
You didn't. I said it.
Hello.
There he is. And I think Majik was muting because she's got somebody talking. Or
Yeah, someone was coughing in the background, but hello.
It's very complicated, okay? This is we have to wrangle multiple people, and it's not just the four of us.
Tonight we're going to be talking about CXP. And also the power-loving kind of primer event for Extra Life this year. What we liked about CXP, what we didn't like about CXP, and what was the nasty parts of CXP.
Oh, you've got to say that right. Please give me my thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Look, I've got Nico Okar, and he looks great.
Graphics going.
Yeah. I mean, okay, look, here's the original, and here is Nico Okar. Come on, tell me that's not perfect for the good, the bad, and the...
Oh, I see. You're putting up Clint.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't see that.
I know you don't.
Okay.
You have to see it like at a slight delay to know what I'm talking about. And you know what? Looking at Clint, I was like, hey, that's McCree. It's just all these games I've been playing have been like kind of, all of a sudden made sense.
That is cliche cowboy, so I guess they did spot on that job. But
no kidding.
After our live broadcast, you can find our recorded episodes everywhere podcasts are found, like our YouTube channel. You can also check out our social media, and don't forget to look on Twitch, just in case if you're not here already. You can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. You can also find our Twitter, which is @thecouncilswotor. We have our website, which is www.thecouncilswotor.com. And you can also find us on Patreon, which is patreon.com/councilswotor. But wait, there's more. You can also generally put us into any browser ever, and you will find us all kinds of things and images and videos generated there. We can't wait to see you there. Thanks.
Can they Bing us?
I don't use that one. I have issues with it, but this isn't the place to air it out. But yes, essentially you can.
Can they Yahoo us? These are things that we don't know about.
You can search for our page.
Yes, pretty much anywhere. And apparently there's a new browser where they plant trees or something if you use them, Ecosia or something. You can even look us up there.
So it's very complicated. Yes, okay, Icebreaker. This is the part of the show where we just pretty much throw a question out there. Generally, we should be taking only 10 minutes to get through this, but we usually make this the majority of the show. Just because we love to catch up with each other. So, isn't it true? Elise is nodding. It's totally true. So, tonight's icebreaker question, my friends. What is your general attitude about release delays so that they can, quote-unquote, get things right? Let's see. Who shall I pick on? Redna, let's pick on you.
This is a incredibly loaded question. Obviously, this is tied into the fact that we have most recently discovered that, oh, shocking, the recent content's been pushed back a month.
It's been what?
Or the incoming content has been pushed back a month.
Okay, so...
The expansion.
It's been pushed back from September until,
October.
What was the month? And who predicted at least the current month of the expected release? Everybody.
Okay,
I did,
said
but
September,
I pushed it back to the second for the sake of being.
My original vote was September, and to be honest, that's what they were slated for. Okay, so I almost
you did really good.
Got it spot on. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
except let's not be confident that they're going to get it out on October 22nd or whatever they're saying. Come on now.
Because when they inevitably push it back to November, then I'll be feeling like Majik is. Man, I was right there, and then they moved it on me.
Yeah, I'm I feel double gypped.
So to answer your question, my general attitude about release delays so that they can get things right, I generally am perfectly fine with that when they're open and communicative and let you know and you see it coming and blah, blah, blah. in regards to BioWare, I'm sick and tired of them giving us dates and literally never hitting it. And I'm not using the word literal figuratively. They never hit their dates. They're always late. And I don't know why they can't just learn not to give dates that they can't hit. Like, just say, if they could even say, hey, we're aiming for September, but instead they have to say, oh, well, it'll come in September. And then, guys, we're happy to announce our expansion will release October 22nd, which is the best day of September, I have to admit. But
no, the 19th is.
So generally, my attitude towards BioWare's epic date fails is fairly negative.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, so who should I pick on next? Majik, what about you?
Well, I got my hopes up because I was like, yeah, I predicted September, woo! And for some reason, that part of my brain tricked me into not expecting this. So when they pushed it back, I'm like, dang it. I was like, gosh, I was so close. Now it's gone, which is not the objective thing to be looking at here. I'm just a little competitive. But
just a little
personally,
bit.
Just a little bit. But personally, I would say that when they say it so that they get all the kinks and stuff worked out, I feel like that's become a norm, not an exception. Like
that's good.
It's like, why don't give us this date if you know it's not gonna be there, unless they're giving themselves a date to try to keep themselves, I guess, more committed to it or something, or to give them something to be accountable to. But
yeah, that's called your boss and setting a deadline.
My opinion is you should set an internal deadline then. My opinion is you should set an internal deadline then, which is before
not a public
the release
one.
date you gave.
Well,
so give the public release date, but give an internal one that you have to meet. And then that way, if you can't meet your internal one, you still have the backup of that's when you told everyone else. And so then even if you have the content ready to launch and you think everything's smooth.
I would have been happy with the announcement being, we're hoping to have an expansion out by the end of the year.
Yeah, but how long?
And then they aim for September, and then they say, hey, next week it's rolling out. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
But that's because they've conditioned us to accept that. And honestly, it's garbage. How many years has this game been going and we still get this kind of stuff? And we're loyal freaking dogs that keep coming back after we've been kicked and beat. And we're like, yeah, give us more content. We've only been paying for it for 7+ years. I'm honestly pretty tired of it, to be honest, but that's more than my 3 minutes. But that's
wow.
Magic is lit up.
Did you hear Magic Gate's like?
She sounded like Elise.
Down. I know, right? You did. Welcome to my
3 years ago, this was acceptable, but let's be honest. I've been playing this game since my son was an infant. He's about to turn 8, so I'm getting a little annoyed.
That is amazing.
It was not
actually
acceptable 3 years ago.
It was to me because I was just so grateful to have the content. This was my first MMO, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm so thankful that new content came out. I pre-ordered Rise of the Hutt Cartel to tell you how happy I was about that. If I could have pre-ordered all the other stuff, I would have. So for me, it was acceptable then. But at this point, it's not acceptable anymore. You should be more accountable in your internal structure that you don't have these kind of problems. Once in a while, stuff happens. You can't help it. But every release, no, something's wrong.
Okay. Elise, can you follow that up at all?
Hey, at least we got those bosses released every 6 weeks from that last operation, right?
Wasn't even every 6
right
weeks.
On time.
There was like a 3-month gap where they kind of got stuck in a couple of points and had to fix bugs from the first ones. Remember? So there was a big gap in between.
So
wait, you're saying they were delayed?
I know, right? Shocker.
Whoa.
Anyway, I would rather them release a completed or more complete expansion than a hot mess, because I've been through too many hot messes here of late being released out of EA Studios.
Right.
So I would like them to do it. On the flip side, however, I think they knew prior to today that they were not gonna make September. I mean, pretty much anybody who's been watching this has been going, Yo, it's not coming out. I said something already earlier this week before it got dropped. That
Yeah, we should be further along on the PTS and stuff than we are.
PTS tells you how far they've
Or just
we should be
80%
of the way through already.
Class changes, you know, it's like the information that they've given us gives us an idea of at least a minimal amount of extra additional information to come, and just looking at how slowly that's been being released, it's like, yeah, there's no way they're even going to have the information to us before October, let alone time on PTS.
Right. So, real quick, I guess for me, I've kind of come to the realization that, well, I think I always try and be logical about the fact that there's not that many developers for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
It's a resource issue, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's just not. And they're trying to do this thing. It was a
resource issue for Anthem, too, and look how that came out.
Well, no, that's not a good example because they mobilized a whole bunch of studios to do that.
Oh, that's right. So maybe it's got nothing to do with the resource issue. It has everything to do with the business culture.
I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with both. But, I mean, when you're talking about what they have, like 20 or less developers to work on this big, gigantic game, and they're trying to get all that, and they released a mini content release with the freaking pirate dealie, I think they should have not done the pirate dealie and just worked on this, and they probably could have gotten done, but they couldn't have had everybody wait all that time. Like, yeah. Anyway, get it out, but
it's breadcrumbs.
It's
each little conversation piece you have. It's a breadcrumb. We're putting out new content, guys. The new content is coming. It's gonna make all these little breadcrumbs string together, and so you log on and you're like, oh, it's downloading now, and you go do like 2 conversations, and you're like, what was all this hype about? Where's my content? Conversations.
And everybody knew that already. I mean, everybody was like, woo. Dantooine was like half an hour. Ossus was like a half an hour. Like,
no, because with Ossus you had like a crap ton of dailies.
You're supposed to farm like crazy.
Only if you do that. If you don't farm, it was half an hour.
Well, that was the point of Ossus, is to farm. So
I was like, "Ooh, good job."
Yeah, what they did, they released 2 extra tiers of gear, and we're expecting that you were going to basically go farm and then repeat all that old content to help, as a supplemental farming to gear up.
I've been doing that for 2 years now.
Yeah.
No way, Jose.
I just got my 4th tune to full 258, and now none of it matters because new gear's coming out. I'm like, there's 3 healer classes.
I saw that coming.
I have 3 main healer classes because that's all they have. I have Operative, Sork, and Merc. I bring my Sork into Gods, I bring my Operative into Gods, and I Merc and Operative everything else. So I have all of them now at 258. And I have 1 DPS that I bring into everything. It's Lightning Sork. I know, say what you will, but I love it anyways. She's full 258. And I put in the last piece, and I'm like, whoa, I did it. And then they released that they have new gear and stuff coming out. I'm like, I have 40-something tunes. I'm never going to get even half of them geared. But thankfully now you can, like, with the new stuff, you're supposed to be able to swap your legacy stuff. Like, your left side's supposed to be legacy. So I guess technically I don't... Right, so I guess technically I don't have a lot to complain about. But it's still the moment where I finished that last 258 piece. I'm like, oh, thank God, all these unassembled components, I don't have to worry about them now. And then they're like, JK, here you go. You got more to do. I'm like,
so
like it's an MMO or something.
I can make mine short and sweet. Mine is easy. I'm cool with it. Granted, I have a little bit of magic aces. I'm not as angry. I'm not nearly anywhere near as angry. But I mean, like, yeah, it's like, okay, you guys delayed again. You delay. It's a usual thing for you. I don't have the teeth in it though. Like, I'd rather them delay and get it right. I think I agree with you guys. Take your time, get it right. Release something good and substantial. That's what I care more about.
That's what I said with Gods, but now I regret saying that because, like I said, they've trained us to accept this. They've conditioned us to accept it, and we do. And honestly, I'm tired of accepting it. So I don't feel that way anymore.
I would just like to say that those of us who
Hey,
play
it means
other
I don't have to
games,
sub back up for another month.
those of us who are playing other games, like had our entire like schedule like mapped out.
Oh, you did too. I know Kid Lee
Of
is
course,
like,
me and Kid Lee have been
Kid Lee is
okay,
like,
we're gonna play this and this. And
this
blah, blah,
wrecks
blah.
my whole schedule.
Exactly. He messaged me on our thing today, and
Yeah.
he was like, "This releases the same week as Outer Worlds or whatever." And I was like, "I know. It's like one of my like primo games."
That's
and I'm
hilarious.
like, "Urgh."
Now I've got to rework my whole schedule and figure this out.
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't know. Yeah, never mind. That's like some
Yes.
game I've never heard of by a company that made KOTOR 2. Blah.
Okay, Obsidian is huge and helped found this along with BioWare. So
Yeah.
it's fine if you don't know them, but they're not just a.
Yeah. So anyway, if in case
No, I'm
anybody
talking
was
about
wondering,
the new game I hadn't heard of.
in case anybody was wondering, Onslaught has been they've announced that they're going to delay it until October the 22nd. So there you go. That's your quick synopsis of our reaction to that event, to that announcement. Tonight we're going to pick on two things that we've already said that we're going to do. Number one is that Magic Ace is going to give us a quick recap, a little I guess recap works, right? A review of the leveling event that they did for Extra Life 2019. So the short on that is that Kid Lee is going to be our organizer this year. Those of you in our own personal community that follow along and are part of that every year. November, what is it, the date? To the 2nd is going to be the date of it this year. But as a primer event, they did a like a leveling event, and I think they've done this every year. I think Mox is a part of it. And anyway, without belaboring it too much, I'll hand over to Magic Ace and let her give us the rundown of how things went, who won, who lost, who was utterly humiliated, etc. So, how'd it go?
In my opinion, I think it went really well. There was 2 teams of 4, so we had 8 people participating total. And the goal was to level from 0 to 70 with no XP gear.
Okay.
So like you couldn't do the DVL leveling gear. And you had, there's different tactics you could use to get your tune 1 to 70, but we were doing it in teams because it's proven if you group up you get more XP from things. So they had 4 people and we had 4 people. The teams
to make it a
were,
1-day event, right? Is the idea is like
yes,
within 1 day? Because
it was during double XP. So we had that, or no, was it double XP? I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was. I'm 99.99% sure it was double XP. Anyways, so the goal was get to it as fast as you could. You could use XP boosts. You could buy your legacy perks that unlock XP for you, and you could also use a guild. You could be in a guild and let them use perks to help you level faster. However, you could not use your leveling gear, and you couldn't do the bug hunt. And there's also some, I guess there's a glitch. I didn't know about it until this event, that if you have a character on like the Rishi stronghold or something, and then you kick that character out of the stronghold, it discovers Rishi, and the XP from discovering Rishi levels you like 15 levels or something like that. Like you weren't allowed to do anything like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't know about it, but I guess people using the XSplit are getting in trouble, but it's still currently in the game, I suppose. But now they know what to look for. So if you see a tune go from 0 to 15 like that, your account gets hit, I guess.
Really? Wow. Okay.
That's what I learned.
So it's
from
an
it.
exploit.
Like, oh.
Really,
yes,
is what that is.
Exploit for XP. It is.
Wild.
And during the double XP, when you use it, that's how it gets you to like level 15 or whatever. But so, anyways, we started. You had to do the first opening planet completely. That was the key thing, is you couldn't just like level as fast as you could, and then as soon as you hit level 10, jump off the planet. You had to complete the storyline for the opening planet. So the drawback to that is you didn't want to do Drome and Kos or any of the other opening planets because you can't get your ship. But because if you do that, it's going to take you a lot longer to level because there's so much faster methods. And so we couldn't like summons each other to places, so we took a lot longer running around to things and trying to find stuff. But we picked up heroics. We did heroics together. We did like 4 planets, the ones that give you the most XP out of it. Then we decided, okay, and it helped out that I was in a guild on Satil Shawn, or I am in a guild called Paramount, and I talked to the guild leader and asked him if he could give get us some perks for like flashpoints and stuff like that. So he did. So that helped us out. But long story short, we had Team Lee, and there was 4 of us there. Mox was also on the team. Then we had Team Nami, and I suppose that's Namigal.
Namigal, yeah. So twitch.tv/Namigal, Namigal, right, is her handle, I believe, on Twitch. Okay.
And she was her team leader on her team, and Kid Lee was ours. And we had strategized beforehand, but I had a strategy I was kind of holding back from the team. I didn't tell them because the actual person who got 71st got a prize. It wasn't just the team, like the individual person did, because it wasn't like all 4 people on the team had to hit 70. It was whoever did the first. So like if somebody didn't get a mission turned in, too bad. We're all leaving them behind, because the rest of us that are trying to get there, like, we can't waste the time to go back.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, you'll lose the whole team to one person's.
Exactly. And like that happened to Kid Lee, and it happened to another guy that was on the team. Something didn't count for them, but we were already moved on. We couldn't go back for it. So it took them out of the running that fast. Like, they weren't going to hit it. But at the time, I was the farthest along. There was a time where Nami was quite a bit ahead of me, but I had a trick up my sleeve, and I caught up to her fairly quickly and surpassed her. By the end, I ended up hitting 71st. And so I won for the team. Yes, I hit 71st. And when Kid Lee was like, I don't get how you're like ahead of us. You're always ahead of us, and you're ahead of them too. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'll tell you when we're done. I'm not going to give it away now. And he's like, okay. So then when I was like, guys, I was like, skip this next heroic. Let's go do this heroic quick, because if we do this one, it gives a lot of XP, and I'm going to hit 70. I'm like, just stop everything we're doing. And he's like, okay, let's go. So like we all rushed to Alderaan and do this one specific heroic, and it worked. Just doing the bonus alone without doing the rest of the heroic, I got to 70. I was like, I made it. So it was a little over 4 hours, I believe.
So you beat Mox.
0 to 70. I beat Mox.
Wow, because
he was on my team.
That is
Mox
amazing,
is
because
serious.
Mox is like, has it like figured out that you can do blah 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 blah.
He does not kid around. Okay.
He was like 4 bars behind me in XP. He was 69 when I hit 70. So here's my secret, in case if you guys want to know. If you have the credits to spend, it's worth it if you're trying to get there as fast as possible. Not worth it if you don't need, or if you don't have the credits and you have the time. It's fine. So my secret is, when we would load into a heroic area, or like when we would do flashpoints or anything like that, especially like on Voss, where a lot of times you have to discover the area around it to go in, I would trek down the path while they're going in and they're starting to fight stuff, because it's an instance on most of them, and you get credit for it even if you're not in the instance. So I would go down the path, and I had bought in my legacy perks all the XP for exploration you could get, the XP unlocks. And
wow,
so
clever.
I would go
You're
down the
picking
path.
some exploration stuff up.
Yes, so I would go down the path and explore that area, and it would pop me up another bar of XP. So I'd go in, and I'm still getting credit for all the kills they're doing, and then I turn in my stuff, and I level almost every time. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, shh, secret, I'll tell you guys when we're done. And they're like, okay. So by the end,
so it was a strategy that helped you. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, so I won by strategy. But like I said, Mox was very close behind me. He was 69. We raised over $365. And I don't know what the total was from bits and stuff like that either. But we raised over $365 for Children's Hospitals and Extra Life for just this like opening event. So that was really fantastic. It was really great. And we'd like to say thank you to everybody who helped out with that. That was really nice. It was fun. It was really fun because it was like a little over 4 hours, I think it was, that we got 0 to 70. And it was a good time. It was good competition. It like was the spirit of competition that was nice, but with everybody being friendly towards each other, we were helping each other out. And I was helping everybody out. I just didn't tell them my final secret, because I have done this one other time on a different server as a guild recruitment event. And that was something we did when I was an officer. And that was something I found out. I was like, I wonder if this matters. So I tried it then, and it worked. I beat them even then. I still won the event. And they were like, what did you do? We did all the same things. I'm like, well, not exactly.
You're going to have to think up of something else now to keep that edge.
I almost didn't share it, but in the spirit of Extra Life, I decided to share it. So that is what I did. That's how I stayed 4 bars XP ahead of everyone else.
Very cool.
So it was good. I think it was pretty successful in my opinion.
Very cool. So
So
yeah,
Team Lee
again,
won. Go Team Lee.
go Team Lee indeed. November 2nd.
Wait, how many hours did it take you to go from 0 to 70?
It was a little over 4 hours. I forgot. We wrote down the exact amount of time on Kid Lee's stream that he did it on. I think he put it in the highlight thing. He had a timer going, and as soon as I said I did it, I hit 70. He stopped it, and so he took a screenshot of it. I know it's there, and I meant to look it up for this, and I forgot. But I think it was under 5 hours. It was a little over 4, if I remember correctly. It was like 4:26 or something like that, I want to say. So with double XP, and I have full DVL gear, so like starting that character without using it like internally hurt me. It was very hard. I was like, I can't cheat. It's very difficult.
You know what? I bet helped you in a weird kind of a way that you would not even maybe know it was there. Is all of the veteran hard mode, what is it, master mode raiding you do, because you're sitting in a chair for many hours, right, with pressure, like you're having to keep up the heals as hot as you can for 2-3 hours at a time, right? So you actually build up some kind of endurance. Whereas as a streamer, like after 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I need to take a break. Let me, go get a drink or whatever. You're there knowing how to keep the heat on for extended periods of time. So I bet you some of that,
And
your minded gear.
Break. We took one break because Team Nami did an operation, a story mode group finder operation, and they were like, well, let's do specials. I'm like, guys, we can do it if you want. I'll go do it the team is going to. I said, but I'm telling you, heroics in a group are the way to go. You can't level any faster unless if you don't have DVL gear, that's the fastest way to level. So eventually Kid Lee's like, okay, let's just go ahead and do heroics. And it turned out that, in case if anybody's wondering, the outcome of it was, yes, leveling in groups, doing heroics is the fastest way in the game to level, whether you have DVL gear or not. It is the quickest way to level. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think you are correct. It does help me because the opening phase healing in the hut's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in this game. And like by the time I'm done, I'm like,
yeah.
Like that heal check is nuts. So yeah. I think I built up a little bit of endurance.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So congratulations to you on your win. I actually until this point I didn't even know who had won, so that was pretty cool I learned here.
Yep.
Very cool.
Team Lee, Majik Ace. Oh yeah.
Very cool. So, part 2 of what we're going to cover tonight is CXP. It is the goodbye CXP episode, I suppose. CXP is a waning mechanic in this game. Now, I want to kind of, before we go into this, kind of clarify on where we're going to be on CXP once 6.0 drops. Like, what's the new scene for CXP? Is it gone completely? Is it still there to some degree? Where are we going to be with CXP once we get to 6.0?
I honestly think it's going to be gone completely.
It's gone completely.
Yeah. Because a lot of people.
And this is why. And this currently is why everybody is trying to catch all their 300s so that they can pick up their whatever titles and achieve.
I have 2 on upset. I got to grind quickly.
Yeah. Well, since you can now. Well, I don't know. Like, getting to 70 is one thing, but then getting to 6P 300 may be something completely different.
Well, the secret is if there's a class you don't like, what you do is all the little clickable things you loot from bosses, you save them, or that you get out of crates, you save them and you put them in your legacy bank, and on the tune you don't want to play, you pop them with a CXP boost on, and even if it's double CXP, and you get there quick. That's how I got both my Sage and my Commando, because I don't play pub side. So I've got to do the Scoundrel and Sentinel, but that's how I got those.
But I think double CXP is over now, though, right? Is it?
Yes,
isn't it
and there
over
will not be another one. So that last one that we had was the last one. But still, if you're having trouble grinding CXP on a character, then save the clickies from one that you do play and send it to the other one.
Right.
They may do another one, being that there's a delay.
Maybe.
It would really be in their best interest to do that to give people something to do.
I definitely
but
agree
when
with
they
that.
announced the delay, didn't they say before that there wasn't going to be any more?
Yeah, but they didn't announce the delay when they said that. So now that they just announced it today that they were pushing the game back to the 22nd. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go, and by the way, we'll go ahead and do another short.
Yeah, slip one in for a weekend or something. I guess they're doing it on a week basis now, right? Like, get it for a week, or you get it for 2 weeks, or some such.
We just had it for 2 or actually it was longer than that, right? It was
Yeah,
the
it's
Cantina
been a while. Yeah.
just here recently. So that was July 20.
Not gonna lie, did not take advantage of it whatsoever.
Didn't either.
Didn't bother. And I guess I could have.
This time I didn't, because the last time before Bug Hunt was nerfed, I had leveled 6 characters, so I didn't need to level anymore. The only one I did was for the Extra Life event. I did a Sin, and since I Sin tank and I Sin DPS, that seemed like a good character to use, so I did that one.
Right. And thank you to Slayers, who in chat said that they stated that there will not be another one
That's what I
before
thought.
6.0 drops, so there you go.
Bummer.
Now, I agree with Elise, though. I do think it would be in their best interest to slip one in.
They might change their mind.
Given that it's, we've got some extra time, so... because you need to keep some momentum going into this release, as opposed to
if
letting
they want
everything
people to
die
sub before then, that'll help.
Yeah.
And given the Netolin or whatever it is beforehand is not going to be enough, because you get it the day that the thing releases too. So... I'm not going to sub up early.
Sub up the day before, and you're within that window. I think, what is it, September 1st, I think, to
you get it,
October 22nd.
I have like 35 Chiss characters on Satil Shan alone, so I'll probably just change one of those that I don't play as often to a Nautilon. That'll be probably about as much as I do, but that's not high for me. It's like when Togruta came out. At first I was excited till I seen the male Togruta, then I'm like, these look weird. Yeah. Kind of like male Twi'leks, like the Liku just doesn't look right and the head tails don't look right on them. I don't know, it's weird. Hopefully these ones they do very well. If they do these ones well, I might change more than one character to that.
The only person I know that plays a male Togruta, I think, is Redna, and isn't it Shock Dude or something? Is the name of your
Shack Bro?
Shack Bro. Yeah, because like you're the only one I know that I know.
Because I made him look like Shaq T,
Yes.
But since he's a guy, I made him Shack Bro.
Shack Bro. Yeah, very cool. Oh goodness. So yeah, we've got a delay going on, and then CXP is disappearing entirely. So let me just look through the questions I wrote here, because Elise has now gone in.
One of the things it was asking is, did it work as a supplemental gearing system? And I think
before we move to that, I think they're leaving the vendors. Didn't they say they were doing something with that so that people who wanted to get gear or whatever, that they were going to somehow keep the gear available or something like that? I don't know if they're keeping the vendors or if they're...
The vendors are on Ossus, so there's no need to really take them out if people still have components and crystals that they want to cash in for gear, so that would make sense. Because there's nothing else on Ossus. That's what Ossus is for, so it would make like 0 sense to immediately take it away. But yeah, that's what I think the answer is for that one.
So supplemental gearing system. What? How did CXP work for you? And Majik, since you brought this up, we'll start with you. How does CXP work for you as a supplemental gearing system?
I mean...
And it took a while to get there.
Yeah, I kind of like that you had to keep the shell, kind of like old school PvP gear when expertise was a thing. How if you wanted the, like, what mattered is having the expertise, and what matter in certain classes here, like Lightning Sork, your gear matters about damage output. You can't have slightly off gear. You have to have max gear to have the maximum amount of DPS you can get out of it.
Right.
So swapping things out for 252 and just keeping the shell worked well, I think. It's worked in the past. I like that you could get gear in multiple ways. It's just not one set gear there's some one set way to get the gear, but I will say, until they increased the drop rate of crystals and stuff that dropped in the crate, it was garbage. It took forever to get anything at all. And I know that's kind of the point, but for those of us who are doing Nightmare Community, we need that stuff. Like, we're doing the Nightmare content. We need that stuff as soon as possible. We don't need to take a month to gear one character. It's actual garbage. So the only way to do it in a manner that would take not forever would be on your main character, grind to get left side, and on alternates, you get the right side, just pop it over in legacy gear and send it over. That was the only way to do it. And honestly, I don't want to do that story on that many characters. It was honestly kind of garbage, to be truthful. The only way that made it go quickly for me is because I did Nightmare farming. each boss drops like 104 CX or the components, and the end boss is like 250 or something like that. So that was the only way it was viable for me. I'm sure the layman who doesn't do NIM, who doesn't need all that, they probably don't care about it. They probably just stuck with 248s or whatever they got out of crates, which I'm sure is fine for them. So I feel like it worked, but it wasn't great. It was painful. And now that they finally made it easier, now they're putting in a new system. Now that it's easy to gear with that, now they're like, but
yeah, they finally
more.
fine-tuned it right. Now
yes.
They're changing it up. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because when you because now it's like, if I open 10 crates, at least 1 or 2 of them's either going to have a crystal, have a 252 in it already, or, you know, like it's either going to have a crystal or it's going to have a 252. Sometimes I get both, which has been rare, but it has happened a couple times. And so once they increased the drop rate and it became a little bit easier, then I didn't mind running more tunes through Ossus. I'm like, oh, well, I can get a 252 main hand just by doing the main story. No problem. But, you know, now that it's easy, they're taking it away. So I feel like it was good for supplemental. It worked near the end, but I felt like at the beginning it was terrible. So I feel like when they finally got it right is when they changed it.
Yeah, when they finally got, no kidding. So, let me throw the question out. For all of you, how many tunes did you grind through to CXP 300? I kind of predicted.
I got like 8.
At least.
But they're all Imperial tunes.
Was it one of each kind so that you could get whatever? Were you going for a Chivo or something, or was it more related to Nightmare raiding? Getting geared.
No, I definitely wanted the achievement, but I will say, like, I hit it on my Merc first because I was raiding with her, and like my goal right now is to become a better Merc healer, because now I'm more than average on Sork and I'm more than average on Operatives, but I'm about average on Merc. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna work really hard on Merc. I'm gonna be a better Merc healer, and I hit 306p. I was like, oh, okay. And with my other ones, I probably
accidental.
Yeah, I was like, fantastic. I guess I'll start working on another class now. So, but the thing is I don't play pub tunes. So I have to just grind, get the things, and send it over, and just pop it on the other tunes. So I did do at least 3 or 4 tunes, I think, but they were all imp side characters, which I already had all the achievements for on imp side.
Right. So at least you were 0. You did not do any... And not even 1. In all of the time that we've had CXP, you did not get to 300. So what was your highest level? Do you know offhand? You're about what it was?
Well, don't you have to be a sub to get CXP?
Yeah, but back in the day when I was, I think I got a little bit over. Maybe I hit like 230 or something. 2 something.
And chances are that's probably the one that you took into our Friday night runs the most. Yeah, that was the one you were accumulating.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough.
So and to be fair, really honestly, I wasn't trying to get like the bestesses gear or any of that stuff. I just wanted a full set. Like I wanted set bonuses. So that's all I cared about. I just wanted the gear with the set bonuses.
And in the end, the Master's Datacron would give you it like the 230 straight, get all the set bonuses here.
So, I mean, like, and I have a crap ton of those still in there. I can go buy those now. Like I saved them all, put them in my legacy bank. So I have,
honestly,
and those went away
I'm
too.
Gonna cash all of my things in and let the timer run off and then sell them. If you're wanting some way to make credits, because a lot of your command tokens and things like that aren't going to be the same way, you can go and buy a bunch of gear that you don't need and leave it in your inventory or put it in your cargo hold until the timer goes off, and then sell it to the vendor, because each one is like 8,000 credits or something like that. So that's what I'm doing, because I have on one character alone, on my main Sork, on that character alone, I have over 6,000 command tokens.
Yeah.
And I already
save them up outside of cashing them in, so that they're I've probably 4 or 5 characters where I'm maxed like that. And
I'm gonna use mine and outfit like my highest level ones with the blue set bonus stuff or whatever, because that's fine for mine. And then I can just be about my merry way. If there's anything else left, I'll probably do something like that. But yeah, I think I got like maybe to 230 or something like that. Part of my problem was, and I didn't put that in the notes, but you really, especially at the beginning, got penalized for jumping between different characters. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that they
This is
built
when it
this.
first came out, right? As a
Yeah.
system. Yeah,
And
it definitely funneled you down to like pick a main.
Right. And if you go on the you know the understand that the majority of the people are not having 32 characters on Satil Shan alone. Congratulations, Majik.
I know. I'm amazed at these numbers.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Actually, I think it's 44. I'll have to log and check.
That's fine. That works perfectly fine for those. If you've only got one character, you're only playing one character, it's like happy, happy, joy, joy. But for me, I'm just like, ugh. And I was doing, my story mode rating every Friday and blah, blah, blah. I was much happier, at the beginning, especially I was very angry when they took all the boss drops away and put them just in the crates. And I was like, I don't want to grind crates. I want to go play this and get my crap there. And it wasn't happening.
That was when it was prohibitive, right? That you didn't have the gear. You couldn't play the stuff you wanted to play, not even socially. So you had to do the CXP thing just to get enough of it together to where you could get into it.
Yep.
It was prohibitive.
And then it got to be like in the communities that you were in, if you were in certain communities where people were all about getting the gear, and if you were doing even just story mode rating and higher, or PvP especially, oh my God, if you went into PvP without some stuff on, you got wrecked. And even still, you're still getting wrecked if you don't have like...
Because people are rocking the 252, 258 sets, and I mean, I quit when they came out with that. I knew that was going to happen, so I stopped PvPing.
Right. Like, so then,
as a merc healer, it takes 4 to 5 DPS to kill me every time because she's fully 248 or 258, and I know how to play the class.
So you come out and you're like, okay, I just want to play my game. Like, I'm not here to like prove to everybody how amazing I am at like whatever. I just want to go play some PvP. I don't care if I die, but I really don't want to just get
just hammered. Yes,
face rolled every time I step on the thing.
Face roll.
But whatever. And I just want to be able to go and play my my Eternity Vault. And can I get my piece of gear that drops? Can I at least have a chance to roll from a piece of gear, even if I'm going to get it? It gives me hope for a minute. But no, you take all my stuff away, you put it in the box. And I had way too many friends who were like, yeah, I'm out, bye. Who left the game because of all this. That was another just smack for this system that to make me dislike it that much more, that it caused several of my friends to leave for good. So I don't know why. When they brought in both parts, when they brought the boss drops and then kept the crates, I was fine. That was a happy medium. But it wasn't enough. I don't chase carrots. I do what I like, and if I don't like it, I don't do it. And achievements just are not enough of an incentive.
You're probably the toughest audience that BioWare has, right? Because you're in it entirely self-motivated, and whatever mechanisms they put in front of you don't really work. So what do they do with you? Like
decos. If they had stuffed them full of decos. I would have been all over that.
More strongholds.
I just did a couple of flashpoints, solo flashpoints, just to get that one deco drop that you get at the end.
Yes.
Like I will grind for decos. That's it. I won't do master mode flashpoints for decos, but I will do other things. But if they had more decos drop in, or like if they had more decos that came up in the crates instead of all these freaking command components and crafting materials I could give a butts care about. Like I don't care about that.
Hey, if you have any crafting materials,
hey, I gave you mine already.
I'm just saying, anybody who has materials they're not using. Majik always has more tunes to gear, always. So feel free to send them my way. Majik Ace, no spaces, send it in the mail. So
she's gonna get her last tune geared, and then they're gonna up the level and give like whole new tiers of
That's
gear.
That's what I did to 248. People are like, why are you gearing 248 on those alts? And I'm like, because I'm running them through old NIM content. 248's more than what it's geared for. I'm not going to waste my time gearing when I only play these characters once in a blue moon. So it's like, I'll just get, because like when you do the old NIMs, you get Gemini drops. So you already get the MK5 drops. So I was like, I already have them in my inventory. I might as well cash them into Legacy Gear and send them to the character I need. So now that's going to be me all over again. So those characters I had done in 248, now I'm going to send them my old 258s because I'm going to have new stuff. That's exactly
The
right.
hand-me-downs.
They're going to drop down the difficulty in the operations anyway. So
why though? They're already easy. The only thing mildly difficult. The only thing mildly difficult is Brontes burn. It still sometimes trips groups up. I did it 3 times this week, and none of us one-shotted it. So.
I wonder maybe if they should have left Evie and KP back at 55 and moved on. You know what I'm saying?
Had this conversation
because that way you know, if at least it's your pace. You can go in there naked if you wanted to at end game and just kind of have a good old time and just enjoy
By the way,
hanging out with friends, right?
That's a must go specifically.
Instead of having the gear for old content.
On this server on Satilshan, 48.
Really?
And it should be free to play, KP and EV.
Yeah.
There are many people who like doing those because they're chill. Yeah. It's like Friday night bowling with beer and DJ, right?
Yeah.
Like,
fire up some Radio Free.
You're there just to chill. Exactly. Happy to do it. You know, hey, I'll bring on some derpy character I never play if I really want to challenge. And, you know, like, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
And then they took away my fun. So
I really want to know from Redna, how many level 300s did you manage to rack up?
I might have got one. I think I got one. I don't know if I got 2. I'm sitting here trying to remember, but like...
I think you definitely got it on Shack, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm pretty sure about. Maybe my assassin, too.
Because you brought him into operations and stuff, which is why I think that.
But
yeah, no, because you were nightmare raiding together, or for a while, weren't you? So wouldn't you have it on a sniper as well, Redna?
Is that the one you were?
Bro, that's okay. Okay, so
yeah, that's why I was saying I think it would be.
You'd have to have.
But I mean, I didn't pursue it on any character. It's just that's the one that I played enough that it just naturally got there on its own. CXP was the biggest mistake that the game has ever introduced, in my opinion.
I felt like it was a stopgap before their next level cap. Gave people more things to grind because people are like, when are we going to have a new level cap? And they weren't going to do it for a while. So they're like, well, we'll throw them a bone, give them some CXP, and we'll put some achievements in there. And people like me who are a sucker for achievements are like, woo, achievements!
Yeah, except that when you introduce something new as a means of getting gear, that literally removes every way you've ever gotten gear prior in the game that you've learned to do to get gear. It also took all items off as drops from drops on minions and everything. Like, it literally disincentivized killing things, right? Like, and it removed any way for you to play the game, to get the gear you needed to play the game you wanted to. It was really a very, very bad idea. Now, I see where they were going for, right? Like, if they had simply left the game alone and said, hey, we're also introducing this with the achievements for people to chase and whatever as an additional means for those people that just like to solo, run around, explore, you know, do dailies. They don't care about doing operations or flashpoints or PvP. Instead, then here's a way that they can get gear and get some satisfaction as just something as an aside. That would have been perfect. I would have been fine with it. But
and that's how Destiny and Borderlands and everybody else does it.
Right. So. But because they, like, as a supplemental system, right? But instead they completely replaced literally everything the game had ever known and every single player had ever known in how you got gear.
Yeah.
And then stripped your ability to even, like, farm decos by going around and just killing random minions. You know, there are actually still to date a massive number of decorations you can no longer get because of the ramifications of the implementation of this system.
And then the community pushed back so hard. I think they realized in a hurry, okay, hold on, we've got to allow people to earn specific pieces of gear rather than just RNGing their way there, because yes, hello 1.0 again, right? Hello,
Well,
the game at launch again.
I can't
with-
tell you how many relics of devastating vengeance I got on a DPS or ephemeral mending. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and this is precisely why. So, what did I dislike about CXP? They removed all satisfaction from playing the game and killing things because all items were removed from mobs. It took far too long. It was an absurd length of time to get yourself up to 300. I mean, like I only did it once, and I certainly played the game a boatload of time. It discouraged alting entirely. It was massively more confusing than any pre-existing gear. Like, okay, so you have to wait and you randomly get these things, and occasionally you randomly might get a piece that might be beneficial to you, but otherwise you also maybe get these tokens that you apparently have to go somewhere, and I never actually figured out well how to take those tokens and go and swap them in for this in order to swap it in for that in order to get the thing that you want. Like, it was much worse than the pre-existing vendors. It didn't adjust for new tiers elegantly. So when they decided to add a new tier of gear, they ended up abandoning the CXP entirely and going with some crafting.
Because for a while there, I thought, are they going to increase CXP to 400? Are they going to increase it to 500? How do you keep this going? And it just illegitimated the whole system, and they had to throw it out.
Yeah, and then it mandated these massive amounts of time that, quite frankly, for people like Majik Ace and what I'm most of the time am, being operations players, it forced us to actually have to needlessly play material that we had no interest in.
It gates the content you want to play.
You couldn't even get the gear, so you leveled your character up to a certain level. So really, that was actually when I just stepped away from operations. So I couldn't get the gear by playing the operation. I just wasn't playing the game as much.
Pause right here, because I want to point something out. Okay, I think we have Elise on one side of the spectrum, right? Who's a completely social player who just wants to hang out with her friends and play some in-game content, but the easy story mode, whatever. Okay, so you got one player. On the other side of the spectrum, you have Majik Ace, who's competitive. She wants to get there fast. She wants to get the gear, and she wants to get into the nightmare stuff. So you have two opposite sides, and both of them were gated from the content that they wanted, the way that they wanted to engage the content by the system, which made it hard for easy players and hard for the tough players. Nobody could do what they wanted to do with CXP. Anyway, sorry to derail you. You just made me triggering all of these.
That's a very succinct way to put it. That's exactly correct. Because it put this massive time gap in the way for anybody that wanted to do operations that said, you can't actually even play the operations until you put this massive amount of time in.
Yes.
There was literally no way for you to get the gear you want.
Burnt.
Yeah. You were so burnt out. You were totally right. Yeah. Because you're talking about
killing these way too easy mobs.
Hundreds of hours, hundreds of hours of gameplay that you had to grind through. And that was just to unlock the tier that you needed to do the endgame content. Then you still had to keep doing it over and over again because it was a random chance that maybe this time you would get a piece and maybe that piece would be relevant for what you needed. It was really terrible.
Dantooine mobs are not easy, FYI, in case you guys were wondering, because even in a fully geared 258 tune, I had to really heal my companion. I had to really focus and heal my companion. If I didn't have a level 50 companion for that, I probably would have died, to be honest, because some of them are difficult.
So I mean, no, so on one hand, I'm kind of glad I capitalized the word ugly, because I think so there might have been a perk or two here. Hey, every now and then, hey, look, it's nice to get. If you just get really RNG lucky, if the RNG gods smile upon you, you get the pants you need, right? Or you get the boots you need just the right time. Hey, look, there's a little bit of an upgrade. But that's maybe 15%, 10-15% of most of the time it's, hey, look, it's another relic. It's one of the relics that nobody really wants because it's not serendipitous or something. Right, it's just
focused red or serendipitous.
Yes, it's not a best in slot kind of thing. It's not even helpful for the way that we gear our tunes. So it's like boundless ages or something,
Ephemeral mending, hello.
Right. So most of the time you're just reverse engineering it anyway into something useful, which is tokens. You're muted, Redna.
Let's not forget also the fact of the matter that there's a lot of people in this game that actually just like to play PvP. Yes. And prior to the implementation of the system, they had this wonderfully elegant system set up where you could literally just play a lot for 2 weeks and have your PvP gear pimped out, min-maxed, couldn't be used in operations or anything. But really, the gear grind is not why you play PvP. you have to get the gear to be competitive in PvP.
You're muted, Elise.
Gear grind
You guys
isn't
are
the
funny.
purpose.
Yes,
So
you
you
could.
should.
I took PvP gear into story modes because you could get it while
Yes, I know,
leveling.
and you don't
And
need
then you
gear
had
in
to
story
set-
modes. It's
Yes,
called
but
Yeah.
and I would get my set bonus walking in
Okay.
there, and I was perfectly fine, and that was my beginning grade gear.
which is also totally legit, and I'm fine with that. But story mode is not really end game. That's go and enjoy the story.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
it is end game. Thank you very much, and we're still part of the minority people who actually do that. So
Well, and let's also be real. What was it? It's Ravtos. Those two operations story modes are still actually pretty rough. So for the non-experienced player.
I just recently got my 16-man Master Blaster, and let me tell you, that was a prog. So that's not something you can easily just put together and be like, oh yeah, it's 16-man. It's only hard mode, guys. Let's do it. Yo, it's not that easy.
hey, when Wog got through Master Blaster after dying over and over and over
I
and
was there
over
for
again, it was a joyous moment. So
It was.
It
I was
is.
very happy for
This
everyone.
is
I'm
why
like, you guys
operations. This is
and
why
that was
operations
story
are
mode,
addictive.
and I was happy to have been like, "Ooh, I'm good. Don't
This
need
is why
to
there's so many people.
Ravagers again."
The problem is that the thing with operations is that like it's that kind of a oh my god I died again, oh my god I died again, and that you feel so bad, but then when you get the kill, it's like oh man that feels so good, and that's what you get addicted to. But there's a lot of people that it's like, man, I just don't have the time to die that much anymore. My life does not enable it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very nearly quit this last like 4 weeks. I had all my raid groups were pretty much burned out. We were all just like really exhausted, and we just didn't have the desire to just keep going. Especially the teams that were working on Nim Gods were just like, one more day of Skyva trash, and I think I'm gonna uninstall. Like it's absolutely AIDS. So like my group's kind of all about died, and I was asked if I wanted to trial for this one group, and I was like, sure, go ahead, I'll trial for it. Turns out I really liked them. My trial was I had to kill Nim Nahut and do a different reveal order for the candle, and we killed it, so I passed, and I'm on the team now. But I'm gonna tell you what, that team is the only thing keeping me here right now until the new content comes out, because all of these things right now that we're talking about, and even the like the stopgaps and all the CXP and stuff, like I'm just burned. I am burned out at the moment. I am tired. I don't have like I'm an achievement junkie, so I'm gonna make myself do it. I'm gonna push myself to get those last 200 to 300 CXP because they're both, I think, like mid-level. I want to say, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If it wasn't for this group putting together, because the sole purpose is we want to push for Dantooine, or I mean Dunkson, we want to push for Dunkson operation.
Mm-hmm.
I would be not playing right now because I've been playing other games a lot to kind of keep myself from being fully burned out.
Uh-huh.
I stopped playing SWTOR except for logging in just to do raid group completely for 2 weeks. Now I'm feeling a little more refreshed. I'm feeling not so angry about the game. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll come back and play. And
You've got to do that or you burn yourself out. Like you've got to pace your way through. Look, if you're going to play a game for 7, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, you've got to pace yourself. You can't play like all out every day, or you'll hate it. So take a month off here and there. You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I totally had to do that, and I will say now that for Elisa's like for anybody who's like considering coming back to the game, I would say if you've had your break and you're doing pretty well emotionally, it's a good time to come back, catch up on story before the new stuff comes out. Even if you don't want to do any of the in-game stuff, catch up on story.
Build some momentum into the new.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not grinding to catch up the day it's released. Like, oh, I haven't done this new stuff yet. I gotta do it. I would say it's worth a resub now. Get all your characters caught up and take it slow. Then you'll have it by the time the new stuff comes out. And also, they're gonna have to do the Dantooine event one more time before the new stuff is launched. So if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to do it now, because apparently, as we found out tonight,
it's gonna get turned up. Yeah.
It's gated behind the event. You can't do the Dantooine story part of your character unless the pirate incursion event is going on. So in my opinion, it would be good to do it now while you got a shot.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good tip. So look, Majik Ace has had some good tips tonight. That's good. So yeah, if you're listening, if you are a part of this, however you're consuming this content, I think our recommendation is come in, kind of get yourself reacclimated, figure things out. You got a little bit more time to do that now than you did before, but it gives you time to explore the Dantooine event if you haven't. Get your characters ready to go so that you are moving into the new content.
Yes, and you want to get it done before the new Star Wars single-player game comes out, maybe.
Yes, because that's going to be
no supposed to come out.
You asked me too fast.
I asked
go look
really
it up.
slowly. I went word by word. I didn't speak quickly.
Well, tell you what. Let me get through the announcements. And
I mean, Grant, I know it's supposed to be this year, and I know that it's an EA game, so probably January.
Right. Well, have we factored in the 3-month delay?
November 15th.
November 15. Okay.
November 15th.
So like 3 weeks before or after this one is scheduled right now.
Well, that's okay. I think it gives you a chance to get a character or through the new content. And then you take a break to go do that.
It goes on sale anyway.
Yeah, and if you haven't gotten any characters up to the 300x CXP and those achievements matter to you, now's the time because you can't get it unless you sub. So you're literally on the wire here to get those, which is why I'm logging in right now, because now that I've said this, I'm like, that scoundrel's almost 300. I better finish it up.
Close, absolutely.
Yep.
So again, as we've mentioned, everybody, Onslaught has been delayed, of course, to October the 22nd, so do what you can for now. Another date that we mentioned during this episode is that Extra Life is on November the 2nd this year. Kid Lee is the organizer. I'm sure that Kid Lee would be happy to have people volunteer to come up with events or to help host events or even to help aid events, make sure that they are that they're successful. So definitely get in touch with Kid Lee if you're interested. If you're in our community, another thing that we've done in times in years past is make sure that this is everybody knows that Extra Life is not something that is limited to just us and our friends or to just us and our guild. It's kind of an open, everybody's welcome, so it's us and friends type of community event. We do it. We raise some good money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Elise, yes? Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this.
No, you're doing good. Also, the new thing this year, well, it's not really new, but it's a little bit more edge organized this year. We're actually partnering with a fairly large content creator and guild in Elder Scrolls Online for those folks who play that game and don't play Star Wars The Old Republic who wanted to contribute to
Very cool.
Extra Life. We're going to announce that when we get the details more hammered out, but I'm really excited about this partnership that we managed to kind of slide in on with Elder Scrolls Online. So hopefully that will also help us make our goal.
That's very cool, yeah. So just stay tuned. We're going to have more announcements on this. We'll make sure you guys are up to date, and we will make sure that the announcements are made in all of our social media. Another thing, just to throw this out there, Nortolin. If you're interested in getting the Nortolin race, you just need to say subbed any time between September 1st and the release of 6.0 on October 22nd. So as we were mentioning earlier in the thing, if you want to pick that up on October 21st, right? I think technically you make that that window and are able to get Nortolin. I think you just get it as a subscription perk. So there you go. You don't have to earn it the
Which
tough
I
way.
believe is a first for
I think
new
so.
species, because the other ones you could get on Cartel Market or
600 coins or something.
Yeah.
If I recall.
When I bought Chiss, it was 600, and I think when I bought Cathar, it was also 600. So I don't remember what I did for Togruta, but yeah, I think this will be the first one that is not Cartel Market related. So that's interesting, since Cartel Market is what's keeping the game afloat money-wise.
Absolutely.
Oh, you don't think they're going to sell it on the Cartel Market?
Oh, it'll be there.
They will.
They said it's a subscriber perk, so I'm guessing like you don't have to pay for it in Cartel coins if you're a subscriber, because you're already paying $14.99. But it's probably still
it will be available on the Cartel Market.
Yeah,
sure.
So that everyone else can get it.
You paid for Chiss, you didn't have to, but it's available on the Cartel Market.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it's for people like me who are impatient, because Chiss was the only thing that mattered to me. I wanted to have a Chiss that shot lightning. Okay, so sue me. I bought it. Did it.
Force sensitive Chiss? What is that even?
Listen, we have Esther Granos, okay? And then the whole thing with Traitor Amongst the Chiss is Theron's working with a Force-sensitive Chiss, so don't at me.
Right, yeah. Yes, apparently they're frowned upon in this establishment, though, is what I was told.
Yes, the chess ascendancy says that it is 100% of genetics or whatever.
Yes,
Something.
yes. The only other announcement that we have is that the next cantina has been announced. This is not really new news, but I wanted to make sure that we are kind of supporting the whole push as well. Friday, October 4th, 7 p.m. in New York. So those of you who are in... Elise, are you going to organize and go this year? Because you've usually done that, right? This is one that you're going to skip. I imagine on October the 4th,
we're going already, so I can't make another one. So
because I want to say probably October 4th, they'll probably have more. They'll probably be looser with regard to expansion stuff because expansion will be close, assuming that they actually can deliver on this date. You know, and there'll be more information that they'll.
I just need to know if Matt's going to be there. If Matt's going to be there, that might be worth it. Just saying.
I don't know.
Yes.
The venue that they go to, though, that bar is really nice. They have food and drinks. It's really nice. It was my favorite out of all of them, is that particular place. The only drawback is it's during New York Comic Con.
There's gonna be no yeah.
But don't they do it during
Timothy Zahn handing out the
people are already there?
What?
I said, don't they do it that way because people are already there for the events anyways?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're only coming up for that thing, you have to deal with crowds and traffic and hotel inavailability and increased prices for lodging. So there's a give and take there. Anyway, so Timothy Zahn handing out drink tickets will be remembered forever. So.
Yeah, that's the one I'm super salty about missing. But that's discussion for another time. But as of now, we would like to say thank you to everybody who jumped into chat and was hanging out with us and chit-chatting, and even the lurkers. We really, really appreciate you. Please lurk on. Enjoy the show. We're glad you're here. We'd also like to say thank you to our patrons who support us and give us the ability to keep running software that is not free. We'd also like to say thank you to anybody who participates in any of our straw poll or who follows us on Twitter or who does any kind of interaction with us. Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of the show. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. You can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35, Majik Ace at @themagicace, myself at R3DN4, and Sakari at IamSakari. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor, where patrons can catch the articles we're talking about behind the scenes and exclusive backstage access to our after show chat. That's it. That's it for us this week, guys. You showed me something today. You're exactly the kind of men I need in the 501st.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.